There we go. I'm not used to doing the observing.
No worries, mate.
You may go.
So, guys, it looks like we are going to be spawning on Tal'Darim altar. And in the top right position, ladies and gentlemen, spawning as the Cyan Zerg in the top right, we have from CheckSix, it's going to be Mackenjian. His opponent, though, spawning in the bottom right position as the pink fluffy Zerg player, but make no mistake, he is anything but cute and cuddly. Ladies and gentlemen, from Team SCV Life, it is RevivaL.
That's right. And I have the scroll wheel turned on. Kevin Naki likes to turn it off, but I like it on. It's much more fun to me that way.
Oh, yeah, so much better when it's on.
Absolutely. You can do the little Startail legend, you know, like zoom in things and all that.
Actually, when I'm not playing StarCraft, that's all I practice.
Observing?
Yeah.
Really?
And you know when you zoom in sort of one click at a time and then zoom back out again? Well, so many different things you can do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
It's great. Fantastic stuff.
So what are these guys going to do? It's an interesting map choice by Mackenjian, isn't it? Tal'Darim Altar, it's a very big map. It's one of those ZVZ maps where it's like, all right, I don't know if he's going to 6-pool me or 15 hatch. It's just
it's strange.
Really tough to predict, yeah.
Tal'Darim is a strange map for ZVZ simply because, and it looks like we have a bit of a gas first coming out from Mackenjian.
14 gas.
So gas into pool. We're going to be seeing some speedlings a little bit faster than RevivaL here. Let's wait and see if he is able to make anything come of it. But what's interesting about Tal'Darim is that it's sufficiently big that everyone expects everyone else just to macro up on it, as we do see the hatch first coming down for RevivaL.
Right.
And because everyone expects everyone else to macro up on it, and there are 4 spawning locations, so it's not guaranteed you'll scout your opponent first, etc., it somehow lends itself to cheese. It's just one of those weird, bizarre coincidences in the universe that means you're never quite sure what you're going to get. Tal'Darim Altar, Doa, is a box of chocolates.
That's absolutely right. It's a big green box of chocolates, so I don't know. If you want to stay healthy and have chocolate, green chocolate.
It's very
there you
tasty,
go. That's what you do, right?
Yeah.
So here's the interesting part of what's going on in this game right now. RevivaL, because he went hatch first, is going to have Zergling speed much later than Mackenjian. Mackenjian did what I would say is probably the safest opening in ZVZ. 14 pool, or no, I'm sorry, 14 gas, 14 pool, getting that Zergling speed immediately after the spawning pool finishes. You've got your speed quickly. You can still expand relatively fast after that. And you have the option to put some pressure on your opponent. And I think that's what we're probably going to see Mackenjian do as he realizes that his opponent did go hatch first. In fact, you kind of need to, right? If your opponent goes hatch first and you go for that speed opening, you're going to be a little bit behind economically, right? I mean, if we look at this RevivaL, 17 drones, only 14 for Mackenjian. So he's going to need to kill a few to make this worthwhile. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly what I meant. I mean, this is a great example of the Overlord speed in the new patch, because as soon as the Overlord saw the hatchery, the Baneling nest went down. And if the Overlord was, say, 20 seconds slower, then RevivaL would have a round of larva to play with as well in the defense of this attack. So it looks like Mackenjian is going to be the one with this super quick attack here, as the Ling's now going to be getting somewhere towards RevivaL's base. However, RevivaL does have a couple of slow Lings out himself. It looks like Mackenjian just going to be waiting for the Baneling nest to complete before going all out with this attack.
Yep, now RevivaL sees that there's no base, right? He sees that there's no natural expansion for Mackenjian, but he doesn't really know that there's going to be a Baneling nest. Does he see this? Okay, he does see the Banelings now, and now things are going to be getting a little bit dangerous. RevivaL does have a few more Zerglings, but speed kicks in for Mackenjian, and with another reinforcement of Zerglings, this could end up being very dangerous for our TSL Zerg player. Oh, he does have 2 queens and a spine, though, so that may keep him quite safe. He's actually pulled back a lot of drones to his main, so he might be doing okay here.
Yup, there are only 3 Banelings, and they're going to be finding it very, very difficult indeed. Oh, no! A little bit of Miss Micro coming out there from RevivaL, and one of those Banelings actually getting almost all of the Zerglings that came out there to attack. RevivaL still does have a couple of Zerglings back at home, but he really wants to be droning with these larvae. He's just unable to make it count, and Mackenjian notably is not going for hatchery behind this, so he needs to try and finish this off of what he currently has. I'm not sure he can do that with 2 queens and a spine, though. One of those Banelings coming off. We do have another 3 joining the field of battle, but Mackenjian is really fighting a race against time at this point, Doa. He needs to do significant damage, and he needs to do it very, very quickly.
Mackenjian coming in to put a little bit of pressure on this hatchery here. He is also actually even on drones with his opponent, 14 to 14, which is a little bit interesting. Or RevivaL just popping ahead to 2 extra drones there. And I like the spine crawl in the mineral line as well. Zerglings did get into the main, but not really able to do a lot of damage. That's a dead Zergling there. Not a dead drone. In fact, if we look at the worker count, 0 workers killed all in all this game. And I just don't know. I don't know if the Banelings are going to actually... Oh, they do get in!
Oh, no! That was the
drones
breakthrough he required.
No kidding. Man, I can't believe he got past all that.
That was incredible. Everything just ran past that spine core at the exact same time while RevivaL was just busy in his main base trying to kill off the first few, and it looks like the Queen going to be able to mop up everything, but another 4-ling's going to be popping in, and yet another drone going down now. Mackenzie is looking all right. However, don't forget, he hasn't been droning up behind this, and he only has the 1 hatchery, so the worker count is actually still more or less even. The difference is, though, RevivaL is now going to start droning up now, and he is on 2 hatches to the 1 hatch off Mackenzie.
Yeah, very true. I mean, Mackenzie really needs to end the game right here if he wants to have a chance to win. I mean, the longer RevivaL stays alive, the less the chances that Mackenzie will be able to take the game kind of go. It's going to be really tough. I mean, with 2 spines like this and a Queen, it's going to be really debatable whether or not Mackenzie can legitimately get any more Banelings into the base. It's going to be tough. He doesn't have Baneling speed, obviously. There's never going to be a layer attached to this. And yeah, I like this decision by RevivaL to move the spine up to the front as well, just to make extra sure that no Banelings get past. If Zerglings get past, he can manage it, like we see here potentially. But Banelings are a different story. Ooh, this may be a good timing, though, for Mackenzie.
Needs to be a little bit careful. RevivaL now, he's going to be coming back with both Queens, and that should be enough. The Zerglings are keeping Mackenzie occupied for a sufficient amount of time. Oh, and we saw a couple of Banelings go into the natural there, not able to do too much damage, though. And one thing I want to say about RevivaL's play, actually, that was so fantastic, you know that in a lot of ZVZs, whenever we have a worker disparity early on, that one player went Banelings and doesn't have that many drones, and one player didn't and has a lot of drones. RevivaL stopped his drone production at 14, the same with Mackenzie for the longest possible time. So he was able to get so many units out to defend, and he knows he can get away with it because at the end of the day, great scout off there on those Banelings, because at the end of the day, he's going to have an extra hatchery with which to produce units afterwards. So a fantastic decision by RevivaL not to drone up there, and I credit that decision to him holding this off as well as he has. Yeah,
you really need to be saving larva when you're not quite sure what your opponent is doing, just so that if you end up in that situation, you can just make Banelings, just kind of survive here. It's a very late hatchery now for Mackenzie. The pressure is off, but is this really going to work out terribly well? I mean, it's 24-18, so he's trying to drone, but we might see RevivaL get a little bit aggressive himself here after he realizes he has an opportunity, although this would be a good chance to possibly put down a Roach War and things like that as well, go to a little bit higher tech, because he knows his opponent couldn't handle it. And look at that. The Zergling's getting a complete scout and getting out again. Wow.
And immediately going for 12 drones behind that as well as soon as that scout was complete. So RevivaL, entirely confident with his current build, knows that he is ahead of his opponent right now, despite losing all those drones in his main, sorry, not losing, but having them at risk from those earlier attacks as well. Just doing so well off of this and reading his opponent perfectly. And that really is what ZVZ is all about.
Yeah, absolutely. You need to know when it's safe to drone, when it's not safe. Ooh, manages to pick off a drone there, but
only an extra drone killed so far. We might get a yes, we do get a second drone killed. So what's a total workers killed now for Mackenzie? It is 17.
17 killed by Mackenzie.
Don't forget, he was on 1 hatch for the longest possible time, building nothing but Zerglings. So RevivaL is actually ahead by a substantial amount on drones. 17
44.
killed, and holy 45 against 24 drones. RevivaL is doing supremely well here, and he knows he can abuse Mackenzie's position just to non-stop drone up off of those extra larvae.
Yeah, exactly. He made just like the bare minimum to survive, just the bare minimum amount of spines, queens, things like that. It's been pretty amazing here. Looks like RevivaL will make a few more Banelings, and he's also going to add the Roach Warren and the Evo Chamber now, so yeah, just going into a little bit later stage of the game. In the meanwhile, it looks like Mackenzie just not, I mean, if you look at the production tab too, you can really see the difference between these two guys. I mean, they just don't really have enough, or Mackenzie really just doesn't have enough production. He doesn't have as much production as his opponent does. It's going to definitely cause some problems.
That's right. Mackenzie,
that's a lot of Banelings, though.
That's a decent number. 14 Banelings going to be out on the field in a second. Mackenzie's sort of in a position where he knows he's worse, but he has to keep raising the stakes to try and hope that RevivaL slips up at some point. And of course, his issue is he's now relying on RevivaL to make a mistake, and as we all know, RevivaL does not make many mistakes. 14 Banelings are going to be popping in, though.
A lot of Banelings.
Oh, no!
Man.
Whoa!
Wow.
2 Banelings for about 8 there.
That was
not
pretty good.
bad at all. And another 2 come out. Only 2 Banelings left for McKenzie, and the
Wow.
Spine Crawlers clean up the rest. Excellent transfuse on one of those Spine Crawlers as well. And look at that Revival even surviving with an additional Spine Crawler. The supplies are now 89 to 52 in Revival's favor.
Man.
And he has to hold this one last push, and he should be able to do so with the Banelings. But we do have a little bit of a link run by into the main. And if he holds this, he should have the game.
Yep, trying to sneak some Banelings again, but the Roach does spot it right away. Not enough Zerglings to really do any damage right now, but here comes some more Banelings coming in. Only one Spine, but the Baneling hits for Revival have just been so good. And he's running so many drones away, and he has so many to spare anyway. Yeah, even losing those drones right there does not really matter. 100 supply to 47. McKenzie just not able to make the all-ins work this time.
It looks like McKenzie is... The problem is he's continuously in a position where he feels like he has no choice but to try and go all in.
Yeah.
And every time he does that, he just puts himself in a weaker and weaker position because Revival, frankly, is so used to seeing this stuff. He's just so unbelievably good and talented at holding it off. Not making any drones the first run by, making a whole lot of them after the second one when he realized he's safe. And now he's just going to be teching up no problem whatsoever. About 30 seconds, more like 20 seconds till Gleal Reconstitution is done. +1 missile attack's about to finish. The Infestation Pit is nearly done as well. Getting a couple of Overseers just to make sure he has complete scouting of McKenzie's base.
I hate to say it, but I mean, McKenzie, he took a risk early on, but he's just kind of really being outplayed by Revival right now. I mean, Revival responding so perfectly to what McKenzie tried to do. And I mean, the thing is, McKenzie tried to all in twice, right? His first one didn't work. He knew he was behind, and so he tried to all in again. And now that both of those haven't worked, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for him to actually get anything done with this army for pretty much the rest of the game. I think we might even see him go mutas here. It looks like it's a possibility. Only 2 gases, but he is getting that lair. It's a little bit too late to kind of keep up with infestors and roaches at this point. So sometimes a surprise muta attack can do okay. But we'll see. I think he's just trying to lead the roaches away at this point, just kind of distract his opponent, give himself some time.
It's entirely possible, but the issue really with this kind of decision is that there are already way too many roaches out on the field. And Revival is non-stop just making roaches now. +2 has started. Pathogen Glands is also about to complete. So with the next push, we're going to be seeing some infestors here as well. And look at the amount of resources that McKenzie has to plow into those Spine Crawlers, and Revival just not really caring. He's decided the Honey Badger approach is the best one, Doa. Just going to be moving straight into the natural here. And it looks like GG is about to pop out.
Wow. So another win for TSL Revival. He is looking so strong in ZVZ. I mean, if you think about it,